Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining me for today's daily snapshot. Today we're going to be looking at the copper reversion, but this time we're going to be looking at using Ichimoku analysis. Now before we do that, please take note and pay attention to the following important information. Please know that CFDs are high-risk products and you should be completely aware of the risks that they pose. Also, please be aware that this is a general commentary only and does not constitute investment advice. And lastly, our resources of information. Okay, thank you very much for that. Let's get into it. So the fundamentals that we're looking at today is that copper's found a bid over the last two trading sessions. This is due to the industrial production print coming out of China, which is showing recovery and supporting demand for the base metal. You can see the print came in at 4.8%, which was below the forecast, but only slightly so. Nevertheless, 4.8% is certainly indicative of recovery. And it's worth noting that supply does look to be coming back online with Codelco and Teck Resources resuming operations following its coronavirus shutdown. Now another chart worth keeping an eye on is the M3 money supply for the US dollar. You can see that it has increased remarkably during 2020. Now let's take a look at the technicals and try and bring all of this together. Let's start off with this chart. So remember, we took a brief look at the M3 money supply. Well, that increasing money supply has put pressure on the US dollar to the downside. As the US dollar has come down, well, we've seen it support copper. Copper is priced in dollars, so clearly as the as the US dollar has depreciated, the price of copper has appreciated. Now let's take a look at the daily Ichimoku, and you can see that the lagging line over here is looking to move above the candlesticks. If it does that, that would be indicative of a bullish momentum. We also want to draw your attention to the fact that the baseline, although price has moved below it, the baseline hasn't pulled back. It's actually been stable and has moved upwards, indicating that the bias is to the upside, and also that until that baseline falters, this is very, very likely to be a pullback. Okay, if that baseline holds, then this could very well be a pullback instead of a trend change. Now we are above the cloud, and we want to see if the candlesticks can move above that baseline. Let's just take a look at this on the hourly chart. Now the hourly chart is very difficult to read because it's just moved sideways. Ichimoku analysis is not appropriate for a congestion. However, for trend analysis is really powerful. And you can see that the lagging line here is starting to move up. It's above the cloud. We also want to draw your attention to the fact that the price is above the baseline. That baseline is moving up. And of course, both the baseline and the price candles are above the cloud. So the hourly chart attempting to trend. Let's just close off with some key takeaways. And the key takeaways here is that Chinese industrial production is supporting copper. It's important for the demand side not to falter because there is a resumption of operations at Codelco, right? So it's all about demand versus supply. And if this demand side falters, in other words, the Chinese industrial production falters, that could put pressure on the base metal. We do note that the Ichimoku's daily baseline is holding and that the hourly Ichimoku is attempting to trend. I hope you found this daily snapshot useful. If you did, please click on the subscribe button below. Thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to speaking with you in the near future.